The Cold War. Behind the Iron Curtain, thousands of Soviet tanks stand ready. British generals study maps of West Germany and realize a serious problem. If war breaks out, the bridges across the Rhine could be destroyed within hours. Airstrikes. Artillery. Demolitions. So how do you deliver fuel, ammunition, and supplies to the front when there are no bridges left? The answer was one of the strangest military vehicles of the Cold War. A truck with no doors, a Rolls-Royce engine, and the ability to drive straight into a river and keep going. Its name was the Alvis Stalwart. The soldiers who operated it had a simpler name, Stolly. To understand the Stalwart, you first have to understand Alvis. The company was founded in Coventry in 1919 by Thomas George John. Soon afterward, engineer Geoffrey de Freville joined the business. He designed the company's first engine and is widely credited with creating the name Alvis. The company started with carburetors and industrial engines. But by the 1950s, Alvis was already building armored vehicles for the British Army. Its Saracen armored personnel carrier featured permanent six-wheel drive and independent torsion bar suspension on every wheel. The same platform later gave rise to the Saladin armored car and the Salamander airfield crash tender. Then the engineers at Alvis made a gamble. With their own money, no government contract, no guarantees. They took the Salamander's chassis and decided to build a truck that didn't need roads. The first prototype appeared in 1959. Inside Alvis, it had a simple nickname, the Beast. Officially, it was known as PV-1. At the same time, the British Army was testing the Saracen armored personnel carrier in river crossing exercises. That led to an obvious question. Could the new truck swim as well? PV-1 didn't perform particularly well, but that failure pushed the engineers toward the next step. Alvis developed the PV-2, and this one could swim, confidently, with a full load. No pontoons, no special preparation. The vehicle simply drove into the water and kept moving. At first glance, the Stalwart looks wrong. It has no doors, none at all. To get inside, the driver and two passengers climb through hatches in the roof. The reason is simple. In the water, side doors would create a serious flooding risk. A watertight hull was essential for an amphibious vehicle. The engine was a Rolls-Royce B81, an 8-cylinder gasoline engine producing 220 horsepower from 6.5 liters of displacement. It was the same engine used in the Saracen and Saladin. The British Army deliberately standardized its vehicles so mechanics could service different machines using the same parts and expertise. But the most interesting part of the vehicle was its drivetrain. 6 wheels. The 3 wheels on each side were linked together through bevel gears with no differential between them. A single central differential between the left and right sides allowed the vehicle to turn. On soft ground, this created a strange effect. The Stalwart seemed to crab slightly from side to side, constantly shifting traction to wherever it could find grip. The system had a downside. On hard surfaces, stress would build up in the drivetrain during turns. British mechanics developed their own solution. They would drive over curbs or specially placed steel grates to release the tension and unwind the transmission. On land, the Stalwart could reach speeds of around 60 kilometers per hour or 37 miles per hour. But when it reached the water, the same engine powered 2 Dowty water jets, one on each side of the hull. Top speed in the water was about 11 kilometers per hour, or 7 miles per hour, more than enough to carry 5 tons of cargo across a river. When the Stalwart entered British Army service, it was sent where it was needed most, with the British Army of the Rhine in West Germany. Around 900 vehicles were used for frontline logistics, carrying ammunition, fuel, and supplies to artillery batteries and forward units. No bridges, no roads, no delays. This was exactly the scenario the Stalwart had been designed for. It could cross rivers without pontoons, bridges, or special preparation, reaching places where other vehicles were forced to stop. For 30 years, from 1963 to 1993, the Stalwart remained one of the most recognizable vehicles in British military logistics. But the Stalwart didn't serve only in Germany. In 1965, several vehicles were sent to Aden, a British colony at the southern tip of the Arabian Peninsula, where an armed insurgency was underway. There, Ordinary trucks were breaking down one after another. Rocky mountain roads were destroying suspensions. The Stalwart kept going. It carried supplies to British units in the mountains, evacuated wounded personnel, and continued moving where the roads simply disappeared. The vehicle's hull was built from welded steel plates, a legacy of Alvis' experience in armored vehicle design. According to veterans' accounts, its robust construction saved crews more than once after serious mine blasts. In 1965, a 20-year-old trooper named Robin Painter went absent without leave from his unit in West Germany, but he didn't leave on foot. He left in a Stalwart. His plan was so outrageous it sounds like fiction. Drive through Belgium, reach the coast, cross the English Channel, and make it home. After a journey of nearly 400 miles across Europe, Painter entered the water in Belgium and set out across the Channel in a 5-ton amphibious military truck. The journey ended near Calais, where French police arrested him before he could continue. Painter received 8 months in military detention. The Stalwart gained another legend. The Stalwart did everything it was asked to do. But as the years passed, one thing became increasingly clear. It was simply too complex for a peacetime army. After every trip through the water, the vehicle required careful maintenance. Moisture found its way into drivetrain components. The complex drive system demanded constant attention from mechanics, and the Rolls-Royce engine consumed a considerable amount of fuel. By the early 1980s, the water jets had been removed from most vehicles to reduce operating costs. The Stalwart remained an exceptionally capable 6-ton truck, but it was no longer an amphibian. In 1993, the British Army finally retired the Stalwart. More than 1,000 vehicles built, 30 years of service. But the Stalwart didn't disappear. After retirement, many vehicles found their way into private collections and museums. Some are still running today, and some can still swim. 2 of them went on to an especially unusual second career. On Gan Atoll in the Maldives, they served with the RAF as reef rescue vehicles, helping recover people in trouble near the coral reefs. Perhaps the most exotic retirement ever enjoyed by a British military truck, the Alvis Stalwart was born out of fear of a Third World War. It was built for a world where a road could end at any moment, and where what came next wasn't a shoulder, but a river. Fortunately for its crews, it never had to perform its ultimate mission during a major war in Europe. But it left its mark on the soldiers who depended on it. And if there was a river ahead, it simply kept going. What Cold War vehicle has surprised you the most? Drop your answer in the comments and subscribe so you don't miss the next one.